NBA free agency winners and losers coming at you on day one of NBA free agency. He's Chase Sr., I'm Harrison Graham. 3 winners, 3 losers, and keep in mind it's early. There's a lot still to come, and quite frankly, there's not enough crazy stuff going on to have this team saying doing great things, this team doing really bad things. So take it all with a grain of salt as we kind of go through it here.
But rip us in the comment section if you want.
Yeah,
we like that.
And if you don't like our winners and losers, then blame the production team.
That's fine
because they're the ones pushing the graphics. All right, day one winners, the New York Knicks. Yep. Listen, you get one of the best free agents on the open market from another team in Jalen Brunson. That actually doesn't happen that often.
No.
Usually those players stay with their current teams. Brunson clearly wanted to have a bigger role. He wanted to play for his dad, who's now an assistant coach under Tom Thibodeau in New York. 4 years, $106 million. We'll see how it pays off over time, but you get a top 5, 7 free agent in this year's pool, you got to be considered a winner.
And for so long, the New York Knicks have gone star hunting at the trade deadline in NBA free agency, and now they're not able to land that monumental superstar who is an elite wing like a Kevin Durant type who's going to lead you to an NBA championship. But in my opinion, you get one of the best young point guards in the NBA in Jalen Brunson, who's been a winner everywhere he's gone. High school level, Villanova, he's the college player of the year, wins a national championship. And at the NBA level with the Mavericks, I thought it was a crime how he slid to the second round. This guy is winning intangibles. This guy brings a lot to the table in terms of culture. This guy grew up knowing that his father was a professional basketball player and played a long time at the NBA level and at college under John Chaney, and each year he's gotten better and he's worked on his weaknesses and his flaws. And that's what some of the great players do at the NBA level, unlike a Ben Simmons, who's been content with his overall ability and he's flatlined. Jalen Brunson has identified the weaknesses in his game, he's attacked them and he's worked on them, and over time he's become a really good player. And honestly, $25 to $30 million for Jalen Brunson isn't that much money when you stack it up against some of the other top-paid point guards. I mean, Tyus Jones just got $15 million per year, and I think that Brunson can give you borderline all-star play and about 20 points per game and 8 dimes per night.
Isaiah Hartenstein also going to the next 2 years, $16 million or so. Kind of the going rate for good backup centers, Chase, $6 to $8 million. That's about what he gets here. Added a 3-point shot last year, shot the ball well. Still think they'll re-sign Mitchell Robinson if that's the case, and he's your backup. I think it's a pretty good deal.
He's pretty athletic, and at points last year, I was like, okay, Hartenstein,
he's improved a lot.
He's able to do some nice things. He's improved a lot, and I think that's what the Knicks are banking on. They're signing Brunson with the hopes of him becoming an all-star player. And that's about the going rate for all-star point guards. So then, in turn, if you give him that deal, he might make you good on your promise and on your financial commitment. The same can be said for Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, I'm not sure what this means for Mitchell Robinson. You're getting, let's say, $8 million per year. At least that's what it seems as though right now, early in this free agency period, with those official contract details to be locked down. But for a good backup center, as you talked about, who can space the floor a little bit, give you some athleticism, another piece around Jalen Brunson on top of the emerging R.J. Barrett. And Quentin Grimes was good last year. Obi Toppin emerged at the end of the year. Emmanuel Quickley's a nice little piece.
Yep.
Knicks, they need another player, but right now, moving in the right direction.
Did the Knicks tamper with Jalen Brunson? The answer's yes.
Nobody should be typing in for no, but who cares about tampering? It's fun.
If they lose a second-round pick, I think the Knicks will be just fine with that. How about the Orlando Magic? Listen, I don't know if we've ever put the Magic on winners of any show we've ever done here at Chat Sports, but they've had a couple of nice little signings here, Chase. You get Mo Bamba back, which I did not know if that would be the case. 2 years and $21 million. Gary Harris, I really did not expect this. Maybe he gets a little more money than he would have if he got into a contender, but I said this earlier and I'll say it again. When you're a young team trying to learn how to win, you need vets who have one. Gary Harris was a part of some Nuggets teams, including one that went to the conference finals a couple of years ago. Good 3-and-D type of player. He's probably not going to be around when Orlando is winning again. But I think for this group right now with a young nucleus, he can help you. I like Mo Bamba. You finally have started to see, if you're Orlando, what he can become. You don't want to cut him loose after he finally blossoms a little bit this past season. So a couple of key signings back and not crazy money for either guy, to be honest.
I was thoroughly impressed with Mo Bamba last year, and there were so many teams who were interested in him because he's a big, who's a high flyer, really good athlete, rim protector, rim runner. He could throw down some dunks on a little two-man game, pick and dash to the cup. He can even knock down some threes, and his three-point percentages last year were totally respectable. And I want to echo what you said about Gary Harris. You have all these young pieces, and for Gary Harris last year, he's making $20 million. That's an overpay. $13 million, I think it's a pretty good deal for a guy who can come in off the bench, occasionally start for you if some injuries happen, and he'll give you 10 to 15 points per game.
Biggest free agency winner from day one. We got one more to go. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. It might be the Milwaukee Bucks, Chase. Nothing they did was flashy, but they don't need flash. They need contributors to an already championship nucleus that won a title 2 years ago. Might have been right there again this year had Chris Middleton not gotten injured in the playoffs. What do? They go get 3 players for sure who will contribute, in my opinion. Bobby Portis, we know he'll play a big role. 4 years, $49 million. Joe Ingles, if he's back and healthy, a sniper out there on the wing who can handle a little bit as well. Wes Matthews is still playing at a decent level. He was starting in the playoffs last year. Jevon Carter, more of an end-of-the-bench guy, but a good defensive guard. 3 of these guys will contribute, and Carter on load management type of nights can give you some minutes as well.
Yeah, look, I think Joe Ingles is an underrated signing here. I really do think that he adds a different element to this team that they didn't have last year. Now, Pat Connaughton, he's going to be back. He can certainly shoot the 3 ball. I thought you missed a little bit of that with Dante DiVincenzo, but Joe Ingles is an elite 3-point artist who is a very good outside shooter, and he's going to get a ton of open looks from the outside with Giannis going to the hoop and demanding all of those double teams. And for Ingles, if he gets open looks, Harrison, he's going to be able to knock them down, and I think he's going to get some big minutes for this team.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything you just said. Subscribe to the channel. We'll get to some losers in a moment. For more NBA news, rumors, free agency, trade coverage, we'll have it all. We'll have you covered. We'll be live for day 2, day 3 of free agency as well. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. Don't go anywhere. We'll have you covered all weekend long. All right, we got to get to some losers, and there's no bigger loser than the Brooklyn Nets.
No.
Maybe they saw this coming over the past couple of days, but it became official today. Kevin Durant requested a trade, and when that happens, that is an absolute disaster because you're going to lose him. That means you're probably going to trade Kyrie Irving as well. Yeah, you signed Patty Mills, Nick Claxton, okay, whatever, but that doesn't matter when you lose arguably the best player in the NBA. We'll see if and when that trade happens. But as we know, Chase, when superstar players request trade into the NBA, they're gone. Kevin Durant will be playing somewhere else this season.
Yeah, look, and at the time when KD came over to Brooklyn, he was recovering from the torn Achilles. Kyrie Irving had some injury issues early in that stint as well. But then you go out and trade for James Harden when KD and Kyrie are healthy. And in the span of a couple of years, that Brooklyn Nets team and that nucleus that you thought was going to compete for NBA championships dissipated, it crumbled, it fell apart, and they won a grand total of 1 playoff series if Kevin Durant is in fact traded. And if he is traded, Kyrie Irving's not going to be on this team, in my opinion.
And he shouldn't be. I mean, if you're Brooklyn, you don't want to try and salvage things with
Plus,
Kyrie.
they signed Nick Claxton to a 2-year, $20 million deal, not knowing if KD and Kyrie are going to be back.
Yeah, it's just,
that's why they're a loser.
This is one of the biggest. I mean, not necessarily like what's happened today. I mean, today's obviously unfortunate, but this last 3 years, when Kyrie and KD went to Brooklyn, we didn't know for sure it was going to happen. I think we thought more than 1 playoff series win. I mean, it's one of the failed attempts, biggest failed attempts at a dynasty that we've ever seen in professional sports. So, big loser are the Nets. It just is what it is, and I think now you got to focus on getting as much back as possible to try and recoup some assets because you're going to be struggling for a few years. Reality. Who will trade for Kevin Durant? What do you guys think? Predict it down in the comments. The Dallas Mavericks here, Chase. Look, we kind of saw it come in the past 7,200 hours or so that Jalen Brunson was going to sign with the Knicks. That became official here. I don't think they're as big of losers as like the Nets, for example. Obviously, it's not like Luka Doncic just come out and requested a trade or something like that. But you lose your second leading scorer. That's obviously notable. I think getting JaVale McGee is a nice it's obviously not super connected, different position, but I think that's a decent little recovery as they continue to rebuild that front court with him and Christian Wood. But you need Tim Hardaway to bounce back next year coming off the injury. You need Spencer Dinwiddie to continue to play well for this team now. Losing Jalen Brunson hurts. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, because he was really emerging as a really nice co-partner to Luka Doncic, and now you have to try to find that. I don't think it's in the form of a Tim Hardaway Jr. or some of the other players on this roster like a Spencer Dinwiddie. I think you have to go out there and find a legitimate co-star for Luka Doncic. And there's no question that he's a unique player to play with. But if you stack his numbers up beside LeBron James over the start of their careers, it's very similar. So don't tell me that players can't play with Luka, but they can play with LeBron James and vice versa. You can find guys who fit around Luka. He's a great passer, great vision. He's a magician when it comes to that. And I think his game actually ages well because it's not totally based on athleticism. It's based on skill. It's based on size. And speaking of size, it looks as though he's slimmed down and added some muscle. So I think the Mavericks are going to be okay. This is a big loss. Signing JaVale McGee is something I really like for their front court defense.
Biggest loser from free agency day one, it's the Nets. I mean, it's the Nets. When Kevin Durant comes out and requests a trade, you're the biggest loser. I mean, that's how it goes. So let us know in the comments. And then final loser, look, you and I have a ton of respect for this organization.
I love the
Toronto
Raptors as an organization, Masai Ujiri and Nick Nurse.
And I'm not even saying I don't like these two players, but these are overpays, man. I mean, Chris Boucher is a decent role player.
Fully guaranteed,
and you're
though,
giving him
reportedly
$12 million per year. That's beyond the mid-level. And then Thad Young, $8 million per year. Like, if it was 1 year, $8 million, I could handle that a little bit more. But you're going to give him 2 years? I don't know, man. I trust Toronto. I trust they're evaluating, but that feels like two overpays for two guys that probably won't even start.
I mean, in the first-round series against the Sixers, Thad Young wasn't even really playing at all. And we're talking about a guy who's been in the league since 2007. So he's a little bit older. He's 34 years old right now. As a rotational piece, as a veteran, I can see why you see him having value. Elbow J, baseline J, he certainly has it. An occasional corner and wing three, maybe from straightaway as well. Good player for a long time, but for $8 million per year, I understand that the salary cap is going up $10 million. So teams have more financial flexibility. But again, 2 years and 16, and then 3 years, 35. Boucher played well in that first-round series against the Sixers, and he has a ton of length. It's actually ridiculous how long he is. But fully guaranteed, I thought it was a little bit odd and a little bit weird, but we know that the NBA, a lavish business.
And again, it's day one. I wouldn't say there's some major loser or anything. But
other than the Nets.
Yeah. The Nets are the only really major winner or loser, in my opinion. So there you go. Some winners and losers on day one of NBA free agency.